Welcome back as always, guys. Grab you a good cup. Coffee is life. Hope I don't knock that over. Alright, what I want to show y'all today and kind of go over my thoughts on real quick is this Assault Pack from AWS Incorporated. I'll put a link to AWS's site down in the description, and just to clarify it up front, no, I don't get anything for doing this video. I bought this, it's mine, whatever. Not that that makes a hill of beans of difference about anything I'm going to say, but I digress. So this is the Assault Pack that AWS makes. Now, before I get too much in the details of it, basically it's a newer version / clone of the original Eagle Yote Pack. Now, I have an original Eagle Industries Yote Pack right here. So this one's in Coyote, obviously, but this is the old original Yote that Eagle made back in the day. I got this one probably back in 2011, 2012, sometime in that time frame is when I got this one brand new. So this is a newer version clone. There are differences, and we'll get into some of those differences. Fred, hold that for me. Don't drop it. I'm holding you to it. So basically, this is just a small assault pack that, as the name implies, that's what most folks would use it for. In the armed prepared citizen world, I use it for a slightly different purpose, but we'll get into that in another video because I'm going to do a follow-up on some other things that are related to what we're going to talk about here. This one is in, of course, God's plaid as He has ordained it. Bottom line up front, I love this pack, okay? I love everything about it. It's a great pack. And I'm going to compare it to not only the Yote, but another one here in a little bit that I also love as well. So up front, the stitching on it's great. For those of you who don't know, I sew for a living. That's what I do. So I am more than happy with the quality of the construction, the materials, etc. Been petting on the dog too much. It's 500D Cordura, works. Basically what this style of pack, whether it's the Eagle version, this version, I think Plat Attack's got a version, Blackhawk used to make a version, I don't know if they still do or not, Crossfire, etc. What these packs basically consist of is you've got an outer bottom pocket right here that's just a big open pocket, nothing to it, nothing in it. On this one, they give you some Velcro and some vertical molly loop. You got some more vertical molly loop up top, and then another smaller zippered pouch right here. It's not super small, but it's small. Then you've got buckles here that undo, and you can of course tighten them up. And you've got this big section here that is basically a big mesh pocket. Okay. Now what that was originally designed for, to my understanding back in the day, was as a helmet carrier. I use it for a slightly different purpose, which we'll get into. So that's on the front. Once you get inside right here, you've got another zippered pocket right here that's fairly well sized. Then you've got your main pocket right here that zips down to about there. That's just one big giant. Then there is a mesh sleeve in here to hold a hydration bladder. You've got 3 exit ports, one on each side, here and here, and then one right here in the middle to run your hose out for your hydration bladder. And then, let me keep this from flopping everywhere. And then on the sides, you have got MOLLE webbing on the sides, and then behind the MOLLE webbing is a deep pouch that runs all the way to the bottom. Same thing on this side. Then you've got your 2 shoulder straps and the sternum buckle. And that is about it. So, a couple of points of note on this one. The loops up here at the top, the tri-glides here, the ladder locks here, and the D-rings here are all metal on this one. All the other hardware is your standard polymer buckles. There are metal D-rings too at the bottom right here where the bottom of the shoulder straps go in, but there is a polymer ladder lock right here to adjust up and down. That's basically the quick details. It's just a small pack that you would put essentials in. Now, personally, I use this kind of pack as a patrol pack from my area for short duration patrols around our property. If I were, again, if we were in a craptastic situation and I was going to sit at security position, I would take this with me to have essentials with me while I was manning that security position. That's kind of what I use it for. Not so much as an assault packet per se, because I'm not doing a lot of assaulting, but should I need to, it's capable of doing that. One other thing I failed to mention too, you do have 2 straps on the bottom right here that compress in the beaver tail on the bottom, but you can also use it to strap stuff onto the bottom, because there are 2 loops of webbing, MOLLE sized, on the bottom that you can run all that through to strap stuff underneath should that be something you want to do. And there is a drainage grommet in the bottom. Important in my area because we get a lot of rain and stuff gets wet. Shoulder straps are wide enough to be comfortable, but thinly padded enough that when you put it on over a chest rig, etc., you're not getting 5 inches of padding stacked up. I like that a lot. So let's compare it to the original Eagle yoke, okay? You'll also notice that the backside here on this is slick. There's nothing on it. The Eagle yoke's kind of the same exact configuration, with the exception of it's all polymer hardware, no metal hardware like on the top of that. The shoulder straps are a little bit narrower, but they're padded a little thicker. This one did have MOLLE attachments all on the inside, but I removed that because I don't attach it to anything and I just wanted it slick, so I took all that off. And other than that, it's pretty doggone close to the AWS, with the exception of it's got pockets on the side instead of the MOLLE field, and there is pouch behind it. So other than that, these are very, very similar packs. This one's made out of 1000D Cordura, and this one's 500, so it's a little lighter weight, not enough to make a huge noticeable difference. Now, just so you can kind of get, this is my Crossfire one that I use on a regular basis, hence why it is loaded up. So I have got a fair amount of experience toting this one around. So we're going to set that down for the moment. That version of the Crossfire DG1, for comparison's sake, it's a couple of years old. Their newest updated version, which I have right here, has a couple little differences, but not too much. So I'll be comparing these two together since this is what I use. You'll notice the Crossfire's got MOLLE webbing on the front. There are pouches on the side with MOLLE webbing on the pouches, and then you have your ability to MOLLE it onto stuff on the backside if you so choose. This one has metal loops up top, but everything else is polymer with the exception of the metal loops at the bottom. So similar in that regard. The Crossfire one has a waist belt that you can take on and off. It's really just to stabilize things. I never use it personally. I just left it on this one for the time being. The AWS does not have a waist belt on there. You could put one on by using some attachable loops, polymer loops that will hook on to the MOLLE webbing right here on the side and run you a lower belt crosshair if you so desired to. The Crossfire one also has 1-inch buckles, where this has 3/4 inch buckles, so the buckle's a little smaller. This also has MOLLE on the inside right here where the AWS doesn't. The Crossfire is a little bit wider overall through the body, not a whole lot, but just a smidge, and the shoulder straps are just ever so slightly wider, but not that much. The Crossfire, you can take the stiffener out of the back of it. The AWS, when you can't, it's pretty much sewn in there. I don't know why you'd ever want to take it out anyway. So that's really the differences between the two. I love my Crossfire, okay? The other one that I just showed you that I've got loaded, this is my backup spare. I use that one at a minimum every week, if not more often. So, why did I get this one? I got this one for a couple of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, just because it's in God's plaid. They also have it, if you want it, in Coyote, Ranger Green, Black. I think that's the main 3 other colors they got in addition to M81. I like that it's a little bit smaller. I like that in some ways it's a little simpler. So for me, my use, for example, the side pockets on the Crossfire, they're good general purpose pockets. However, it always seems like I can't ever fit what I want to in them. So I end up just chunking miscellaneous stuff in there, not really using them like I want to. With this one, what I can do is I can set it up how I want, which what I like to do is I like to have my radio pouch on one side and a double mag pouch on the other side. That gives me a couple extra reloads, and it gets my radio right here on the side of the pack where I want it. Now, coincidentally, a radio, especially like a Baofeng with an extended battery on it, fits very nicely in the built-in little side pocket behind the MOLLE web. Just as a point of note for any of you that are interested. I like having mine in a flapped pouch so it's completely covered up and a little more weatherproof, but that's just me. So this offers me a really good addition because it's not going to replace my Crossfire, but I will be using it in rotation with the Crossfire, if that makes sense. Again, this is going to be a dedicated patrol pack and security post pack for me. My use, my context. For the beaver tail back here, I don't know if a lot of folks think of this or not, but what I like to put in here is a raincoat and my tarp, that sort of thing. Stuff that if it gets wet, it doesn't matter because it's waterproof stuff anyway. And if I'm having to pack it up real quick and it's wet, it doesn't matter. I can put it in here. The mesh will allow it to dry out pretty quickly, and it doesn't get anything else wet on the inside of the pack that I may want to put in there. If I had to find one negative about it, my biggest complaint would be on the inside right here, inside the pouch where your water bladder goes. There is no hanger or anything of any kind up top. My Crossfire and the Eagle both have capability of hanging the water bladder up top, so it's hanging in the pack and not just all slumped to the bottom. Some folks, that's not a bother. I prefer to have it hooked up top. Now for me, it's an easy fix. I can sew in an attachment point right here with something to hang the bladder on. Not a problem. I can knock that out for myself. I sew for a living, so it's not exactly a complicated thing. But other than that, like I said, the construction of the pack is perfect. I don't see any deficiencies in the sewing, the stitching. Everything's just like it should be. It looks like it's reinforced where it should be. All the usual high points that you want to put. So, long story short, I love my Crossfire, but I'm already in love with this, and I can say that just because A, the construction's good, and B, it's going to do the same thing that my Crossfire does, only in some ways slightly different, like I said, with me being able to put the pouches on it that I want and tailor it specifically for my personal use. The fact that it's in God's plaid just means that it was ordained and meant to be. Yes, I said what I said. I don't regret it. Because reasons. So, if you're looking for a good source for a pack this size, this style, of course, I've always recommended the Crossfires to you guys. I've got another video up on that DG1 if you want to go take a look at that. But I will absolutely tell you up front, add the AWS pack to your consideration list. It's a great patrol pack. It's a great pack to use in addition to a longer range pack. If you needed to do something for an extended distance and you had a bigger ruck, you can attach this to the outside of your bigger ruck. Then whenever you get to your patrol base, remain overnight position, whatever, drop your main ruck, and then you can still take this and go do whatever it is you need to do with the smaller pack with your essentials and stuff in it. So a lot of versatility and capability there. AWS has got a whole bunch of other stuff on their website that if you're interested in this, you might find other stuff they've got of interest. Again, I'll put a link. Not really a whole lot else left to say about it. I'm in love with the thing. I've got to get it set up and loaded up with all the stuff that I want to put in it. Again, I'm gonna load it up similar to my my Crossfire, just because it'll be used for similar purpose. That way I can grab either one of them and go do what I want to do. So, AWS Assault Pack, I really like it. Like I said, if you're looking for something along those lines, put it on your consideration list. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Quick shout out to, I know my good brother from another mother, Black Dissident, he picked up one of these as well. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have a video coming out. If he doesn't already have it out by the time you see this one, I imagine it probably won't be too much longer afterwards, and you can hear his thoughts. I've talked with him and I know he's got one. We've briefly discussed it, but we haven't gotten into any details, so I don't know if he likes it or loves it or what. I'll be interested to hear what he says. Spoiler alert, I'll probably end up talking to him before he puts his video up, so I'll probably already know by the time you're watching this, but I digress. Anyway, I only mention that to say there's a way you can get another point of view on it besides just mine. Again, link in the description box. Take care, stay safe, go practice go train, use your gear, find a way, somehow. I know it's not always easy, but you got to get out there and use your gear. It's the only way to get it dialed in and make sure you've got it so that it's going to work and you know how to run it for when the time comes. See you guys in the next one.